Hey guys, my name is Dopsy. So my EP just dropped and I'm so excited. And I thought instead of just putting out performance content, this is a project where I was really hands-on with because I mixed all the songs in the project. Why not just take you guys on a deep dive of how I mix these songs? And especially if you've listened, please go listen to my EP Making Adam. If you listen, you really enjoy. You don't just get to enjoy my songwriting talent and my singing talent, you get to enjoy my audio engineering skills also, and I say that confidently. So I'm starting with the first song, Beautiful Girl. This beat I got it from an online acquaintance, a producer, Wieland, is from Morocco. So first of all, just to give you an intro of how I arrange or how I organize my workspace. So I have the beats channel, the 2-track channel. If I'm not mixing the stems, I have the beats 2-track channel. I have the lead vocals, and I have backup vocals, and I have ad libs, and maybe vocal effects and all that. So I prefer to boss it because it makes my mixes faster and easier and more cohesive. So I'm just going to be going into each of these bosses and let's check what's in there. So for the lead vocals, this is the lead boss. The first thing I did was add let me just solo the lead. First thing I did was add a saturator. Wow. So I added this saturator by Abbey Road using waves. So let's see. Let me just first of all, let me play the whole vocals with the whole effects, right? So alright, so I'm going to then I'll just turn on the saturator and see what I did there. Let's put it up first and let's see what that saturator actually did. So I think the vocals was a bit dull, not energetic enough. So I think with this deciding to put the saturator first is for it to cut through the beat. First of all, just to give that life. The vocal sounds like it's in the beat like an instrument, but still you can hear it clearly. So the idea of that is to try to look for the most unique frequency in the vocals and let it shine. So every other thing stays within the within the mix. Then that particular one just shines. So the next thing I did was some EQ, of course. I dropped. So these are all like dynamic EQ applications though. I cut the low, obviously boosted 1 kilohertz. If you notice, without the EQ, it was sounding so rough. Some frequencies were so annoying. Okay, so I think what I did with that EQ was to just try to make it tonally pleasing. Make the vocals tonally pleasing, yeah. So it sounds a bit more melodious when I cut out all those frequencies that I highlighted. So this is a very simple plugin stack, then the next thing, compression. So because I need life in these vocals, actually that's why I decided to go with this CLA76 by Waves. So the vocals cut through because I always wanted to cut through. So this is slow release, medium attack. Then so it takes a little bit more time to hold the compression. So it makes it multi-band compression. I don't need the lows at all because this beat bangs and I don't want to. It's going to phase the lows of the vocals out anyway, and then it might even cause some phasing issues if I left it. It won't be so obvious, but small details. Then so I had to just cut it out completely. Then this 200 this muddy side, because the microphone sometimes adds more muddiness. Then I did an upward expansion. Wow, in the mid. So I did an upward expansion on this mid. Fair enough. Yeah, because like I said, I think that's where I discovered the most unique frequency in the vocal. Then after all, final EQ to just like balance the tones out. I caught more lows and high, dipped more. Which frequency is this? Sorry about my. Then I dipped around 1.5 kilohertz. Fair enough. So with my crowd vocals, I'll play without the lead, but I will leave the beat. My crowd vocals, the bossa uses. So yeah, I wanted that to sound very. So in the okay, first of all we have the pitch control. Then we have cloner. Yeah, because I have just 4 vocal tags. So yeah, so the first thing on it is pitch correction. Then I have cloner. Cloner is a modulation effect that kinds of finds a way to make your voice sounds multiple. So it sounds like more. Fair enough. I needed that though, because I couldn't get all the choir in the world. Then yeah, like I said, now this one now I didn't want it to cut, so I'm using this. It's more easy on the vocals rather than adding on like the CLA76. So now mixing is all about separation. So in the I know in the multiband for the lead I duck this part, but in this backup now I am doing an upward compression. Yeah, then I'm dropping the parts where I dropped in the then I'm ducking the parts where I increased in the lead. So it's just like it makes it stands out, makes everything stand out when you like emphasize different frequencies. Yeah, it's an ambience. So this is stereo shaper. Actually, I'm used to Ozone Imager, but I heard this one that day and it was just dope. Then with the NX, it was really wide, but I want this one to sound more like a lead. I only did multi-band. Yeah, and I did stereo shaping also. Yeah, stereo shapers sounds different from one another. Another thing I worked on is this. I mentioned that I never process things directly from the audio channel unless there's an exception. Pitch, I got it from SoundCloud and it's license free. So noisy and boring, very noisy and boring. Yeah, you hear the noise, boring. I had to work on that. So first thing, Z noise. Then I cut out some lows though, but not too much. 50, fair enough. Then I added like ambience. I probably shouldn't even have added this ambience. So it sounds like, when you hear it, it sounds like the spirit is talking to you or whatever. So that's the final thing I did, the speech. So that's all about the mix breakdown for Beautiful Girl. Let us listen to it for a few seconds. No, one last thing I forgot. I always have a general channel too. So I always have a general channel. On this general channel I usually do a general compression, like RMS compression for everything. Then I did, so all I did was just like cut out more lows, then limiting. Cut out more lows, then I all I did with the EQ was cut out more lows, then I I dubbed I did like dynamic dynamic EQing for this high hand note, sort of like a DSN. Then limiting helps with not making the vocals go overboard in case there's a surprise. Fair enough. So that's it for Beautiful Girl. Please go listen to Making Adam. Let's hear this song. Making Adam out now. Peace out.